Your pet knows exactly 3 things about you: what makes you give food, what makes you give attention, and what you do right before you leave the house. And they have been using all 3 of those things against you since the very first week you brought them home. You think you own a pet. You actually share a house with a small creature that has spent every single day studying you, your tone, your routine, your weakness, and building a system to get exactly what they want from you at all times. The high fives, the talking back, the dramatic reactions when you say the word bath, the way they choose your most expensive item to destroy. None of it is random. None of it is just cute. All of it is a strategy, and it works every time. Stay until the very end of this video, because the last thing I'm going to tell you is something behavioral scientists discovered that explains every single weird, funny, and inexplicable thing your pet has ever done in one sentence. And once you hear it, everything will make sense. Point 1. They learned your weakness on day 1. Think back to the very first week you had your pet. They were quiet, watchful, taking everything in. You probably thought they were shy or adjusting. They were not adjusting. They were collecting data. Within the first 7 days of entering a new home, pets, both cats and dogs, enter what animal behaviorists call the orientation phase. During this time, they are mapping the environment, identifying the hierarchy, and most importantly, identifying which human behaviors produce which outcomes. Who feeds them? Who responds fastest to vocalization? Who gives in first during a staring contest? Who feels guilty and gives a treat after saying no? By the end of week 1, your pet had a working model of every person in the house. They knew your schedule, your soft spots, and your tells. You spent that first week thinking they were getting comfortable. They spent that first week building a complete psychological profile of you. And every behavior that followed, every cute trick, every dramatic reaction, every well-timed cuddle, came from that profile. Point 2. The talking back phenomenon. You tell your pet no. They make a sound back at you. You say no again. They make a louder sound. You explain yourself out loud to an animal why the answer is still no. They make the sound again. And somewhere in this exchange, you either give in or walk away feeling vaguely guilty about a decision you made in your own home. This is not your pet being funny. This is negotiation. Both cats and dogs have developed context-specific vocalizations that they use differently depending on the situation and the human they're dealing with. Research shows that pets produce measurably different sounds for different requests, a different vocalization for food versus attention versus wanting to go outside. But the most sophisticated version is the back and forth. When you respond to their vocalization, even to say no, you have entered the negotiation. You confirm that the channel is open, that making sound produces a response from you. Your pet is not talking back out of attitude. They are running a conversation loop that has worked before. They are pushing on a door that has opened previously. The moment you engage, you have already started losing. Point 3. The bath word phenomenon. Here is a question worth asking seriously. How many words does your pet actually understand? Dogs, on average, understand between 165 and 250 words. Border Collies, the highest measured, have understood over 1,000 individual words in controlled studies. Cats understand fewer, but have shown reliable recognition of 25 to 35 words associated with regular events. But here's the part that is genuinely unsettling. They also understand spelled words. The famous example, PLAY, WELK, BATH, pets who have heard these words associated with events enough times begin responding to the spelled versions too, because they hear the component sounds and pattern match them to outcomes. Your pet is not understanding spelling. They are doing something more impressive. They are tracking the fact that you changed your communication pattern when saying certain words and using that change itself as a signal. When you started spelling BATH instead of saying bath, your pet noticed that you were being evasive about something. And they associated your evasiveness with the event. They didn't learn to spell. They learned to read you. Point 4. The selective hearing strategy. You call your pet's name. Nothing. You open the treat bag 3 rooms away and don't make a sound. They appear within 4 seconds. This is not a hearing problem. Multiple studies confirm that pets recognize their own names with extremely high accuracy. The issue is not recognition. The issue is response. Your pet has sorted every request you make into two categories. Category 1, things that consistently produce good outcomes. Food sounds, treat bags, the leash appearing, certain words associated with going outside. These get an immediate response every time. Category 2, everything else. Name called for no clear reason. Name called in a tone that has previously led to nail clipping. Name called right before being put in the carrier. Your pet does not have selective hearing. They have selective response, a finely tuned decision-making system that evaluates the likely outcome of responding before committing to a reaction. When your pet ignores you, they are not being rude. They are being rational. They have assessed the situation, calculated the risk, and decided the response is not worth the probable outcome. You call it ignoring. Scientists call it risk-averse decision-making. Your pet is the most logical one in the room. Point 5. Why they destroy the expensive things. You bought your pet a basket full of toys. Proper ones. Expensive ones. The kind with squeakers and crinkle material and dangling things. Your pet ignores all of them and destroys your AirPods. This seems random. It is not random. Your pet has observed something about you over many months. When they interact with their toys, you occasionally glance over. When they interact with your belongings, your shoes, your cables, your furniture, you immediately stop everything, make loud sounds, cross the room fast, and give them your complete undivided attention. From your pet's perspective, your belongings are the most effective attention-generating objects in the house. Every other toy produces a weak response. Your things produce an immediate, high-intensity, full-body response from you. They are not destroying your things because they hate them. They are using your things because they work. You trained your pet to value your belongings more than their toys by responding to one and not the other. Every time you ran across the room in a panic, you reinforced the lesson. The most expensive item in the house is not your AirPods. It is your attention. And your pet figured out the cheapest way to buy it. Point 6. The guilt trip mastery. Your pet gets in trouble. You tell them off firmly. They look at you with the eyes. You immediately feel terrible. You apologize. You give them a treat. You spend the next 10 minutes making it up to them. Your pet just turned a punishment into a reward sequence. And they know it. The expression we interpret as guilt, the lowered head, the wide eyes, the slow movements, is not guilt. Controlled studies where owners were told their pets misbehaved when they hadn't showed the exact same expressions. The expression is a response to your tone and posture, not to their own actions. Your pet is not feeling guilty. They are recognizing that you are displaying signs of displeasure and deploying the behavioral sequence that most reliably converts your displeasure into sympathy, attention, and often food. They looked at your body language, identified the threat, and activated the disarming protocol. The guilty face is a negotiation tactic. The sad eyes are a tool. And it works on you every single time. Point 7. The cuddle timing algorithm. Have you noticed that your pet is significantly more affectionate in specific situations? Right when you sit down after a long day. Exactly when you're on an important phone call. The moment you open your laptop to do something that requires concentration. Right after you've been away. This is not coincidence. Your pet has mapped the moments when you are most likely to respond positively to physical contact. When you're tired, you welcome warmth. When you're on a call, you're distracted and less likely to move them. When you're working, your hands are available but your attention is elsewhere, making you easy to redirect. The cuddle timing is optimized. Not consciously, not with a plan, but through hundreds of interactions where physical contact at certain moments produced sustained warmth and attention, and physical contact at other moments produced being gently moved aside. Your pet is not cuddling you because they feel like it. They're cuddling you because the data says now is the highest probability moment for it to work. Point 8. What the tricks are really about.
Sit, paw,
High five.
spin,
Roll over. You spent time teaching these. You used treats. You used repetition. You felt proud when it worked. Now, ask the honest question. What did your pet learn? They did not learn sit. They learned that when you say a specific word in a specific tone and hold your body in a specific way, producing food requires them to lower their back end to the floor. They did not learn high five. They learned that touching your hand when it appears in a certain position produces a treat with a reliability rate of approximately 100%. They learned to operate you. Every trick is a vending machine your pet discovered. Insert specific behavior. Receive treat.
Repeat.
The distinction sounds small, but it matters enormously. Because it means your pet spent your entire training period observing your patterns, identifying the input that produces the output, and then learning to produce that input on demand. You trained them, and while you were training them, they were training you to hold out a treat every time they performed. You made them a vending machine. They made you one too. Point 9. The real reason they follow you everywhere. Your pet follows you from room to room, into the bathroom, into the kitchen, back to the bedroom. Anywhere you go. You probably think this is affection. It partly is. But there is a more precise explanation. For social animals, both cats in their own way and dogs absolutely, the location of a trusted companion is safety-relevant information. In the wild, knowing where your group members are at all times is not optional. It is survival. Your pet is not following you because they cannot bear to be apart from you for 30 seconds. They are following you because their nervous system files your location under information I need to have. And when that information becomes unavailable, when you disappear behind a closed door, it creates a low-level alert state that is only resolved by re-establishing your location. The scratching at the bathroom door is not neediness. It is a security system running a location check. And when they find you, settle down nearby and go to sleep, that is the alert state resolving. Threat assessed. Companion located. Environment stable. You are not just their person. You are a piece of information their nervous system requires to feel safe. And every time you move, they update that information. At the very beginning of this video, I told you that behavioral scientists discovered one thing that explains every single weird, funny, and inexplicable thing your pet has ever done. One sentence. Here it is. Your pet is not trying to be funny. Your pet is not trying to be cute. Your pet is not even trying to make you happy. Your pet is trying to survive, and they decided a long time ago that you are the most important variable in that survival. Every behavior in this video, the talking back, the guilty face, the perfectly timed cuddle, the destroyed AirPods, the selective hearing, the tricks, the following you everywhere, is a different expression of the same strategy.
Keep the human engaged.
Keep the human close.
Keep the human happy enough to stay.
Because from your pet's perspective, you are not just a companion. You are the entire ecosystem. You are the food, the warmth, the safety, the stimulation, the social bond, and the emotional anchor, all in one unpredictable, occasionally confusing, fundamentally necessary presence. And every single behavior they have developed, every funny moment, every dramatic reaction, every perfectly timed look, is their version of doing whatever it takes to keep you in their life. You thought you rescued them. The truth is a little more complicated than that. You rescued each other. What is the most human thing your pet has ever done? The moment you genuinely thought they understood that. Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. And if you want to know the one behavior that tells you your pet has fully and permanently bonded to you, not just trained you, actually bonded, that is exactly what the next video is about.